My name's Katerina, or Kat, that's much easier. People prefer to call me that, so that's fine. This is my story. I call it making the best of a bad situation, and throughout the talk you'll find out what those bad situations were. So, I'm not a mental health professional. I don't have the answers to a lot of questions, if I have any answers at all. I'm just going to simply tell you what my life has been like and how I got through some of the things that happened to me when I was younger and through to adulthood. Has anybody left school yet? Yeah? So, I left school in 1998. That's how old I am. 36 now. And really old. And the day I left, people said that it was the beginning of a new direction. It was the beginning of a new chapter in my life. A lot of my friends cried, a bit like that. I didn't cry. I wasn't bothered. I couldn't think of anything better than to leave school, because I was always the odd one out. I was always very different to any of my friends, and I'll show you why. Anybody know Peter Andre?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you say he's fake? You still think he's fake? He's like 40 odd. Anyway, this is what he looked like. Fair enough. So this is what he looked like in 1993-ish, right? So he's got an 8-pack. You never know, you might do. So all my friends loved Peter Andre. They loved him. They used to learn the words to Mysterious Girl. I, on the other hand, preferred this guy. Meatloaf. Anybody know who Meatloaf is? Just check. Yeah, that's a good sign. Good. So, can one person name a Meatloaf song?
Batter of Hell.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll do. Now, compared to all my friends, they used to wear really fashionable clothes. As you can see, I didn't. This was never fashionable. It's not fashionable. Yeah, that's me. I was exactly. I was about 15 there. I was a geek. I was a swot. I had lots of friends, but I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in anywhere. A lot of my friends wanted to be doctors, nurses, lawyers. Yeah, you can all tell what's coming, can't you? I, on the other hand, wanted to do this. So you're laughing, but this is actually a career. People win competitions. They win money doing this. Now, I used to do this in the mirror. I used to practice, and my mum would walk past. Not now, no. And the thing is, to be a successful person doing this, you need to have no teeth, and I've got a full set, so I can't really do it now. No. Pull them out? I'm not that old. Okay. You can. There you go. See, you've won a competition already. Brownies. Anybody been a brownie, a Cub Scout, anything like that? Yeah, great. Well, I didn't find it boring. See, I was a bit different. I wanted to be a gamer, that's another thing. So I wanted to be the best brownie possible. And to me, the best brownie possible was going to solve a lot of problems. We were encouraged to save the planet, look after the litter and that kind of thing. We were also given projects to do. Now, our project was to pick a country. I picked Ethiopia. Now, at the time, in the early 1990s, Ethiopia was going for a food crisis. Now, this really affected me, so I went home and I said to Mum, why is the Queen not doing anything? She lives in that massive house in Buckingham Palace. She lives in a huge house. Why is she not giving... Pardon? Palace, that's it, yeah. She's obviously got lots of money. Yeah, oh, what's that? so Mum said to me, why don't you write to her? Now, Mum now knows not to call my bluff, because I did write to the Queen. I wrote to the Queen and said, why are you not giving the starving children in Ethiopia any of your money? I got a reply. Not from the Queen, but I did get a reply from the lady in waiting. It came in this lovely little envelope with a little red thing on the back, like it's from the olden times. And the lady in waiting said, why don't you help the planet by going to Oxfam and being a volunteer? Only problem was, and I thought it was a great idea, only problem was I was 10. You can't really volunteer at 10 years old. You can as you get older, but not at 10. So in my head, I had a different thing. Dream big. I thought that by concentrating on my passions, which was writing, I thought that by doing that, I would be like William Shakespeare. Now, I will admit to everybody here, although I have a degree in English, I don't like Shakespeare. I can't understand a word he writes. I've no idea. But I liked his success. I liked what he'd achieved. I also liked Stephen King, and I also liked Enid Blyton. So I was going to be like them. I was going to be as successful as they were. And not only was I going to be successful, but I was going to win a BAFTA for all my work. I was going to win an Oscar. And I was going to solve the food and homeless crisis across the world single-handedly because I'd achieved all this. Now, that didn't happen because I'm stood here. However, that did happen. Depression. Now, I pride myself on trying to be upbeat, but when you're depressed, you can't do anything about it. You feel like your entire world is crumbling. Now, I felt like that as a child, and there are a few reasons why. I hated myself, but it wasn't my problem with me that it was. I channeled my depression and the way I felt about myself and my emotions by doing this. To deal with the things I felt inside, I would write. So when I was 11, I wrote this novel here. It's called The College Fears, and it was about a girl who was at university and she was starving herself because she was unhappy. When I was 13, I wrote this one, The Waste of a Person. Now, The Waste of a Person, I'll tell you about the title in a minute, but it was about a girl who believed she was a waste of a person. And she tried to kill herself 13 times in 5 years. She never quite managed it, and I never did finish this novel, and I think that's a good sign. But now, The Waste of a Person, the title comes from this picture. So in this picture, you have my granddad on the end, my mum, my brother, my little head in the corner, my dad, my auntie, and my grandma. Now, that picture tells a thousand different things. That picture was when I don't think you'll know, but you know when they had old cameras? Does anybody remember old cameras where you used to have to take the picture yourself, yeah? And you had to put it on the fence, we had to put it on the fence across the garden, and then you had a timer, yeah? And then you had to run back, and then smile, and hope that it caught you. It took about 32 attempts to get this one picture. However, appearances can be deceptive. We look like a really nice, close, enjoyable family. What was actually in this picture is a man who controlled the entire unit. Now, my dad's Greek, and my mum's English, and my dad had certain ways, and it's not because he was Greek. And I used to think it was because he was a different ethnicity. He had a different culture coming from. However, actually, he was just a really mean person, and we were living with bedroom inspections. My dad would check our school bags for drugs and cigarettes. He would threaten to do strip searches on us to make sure that we weren't misbehaving when we were young. Now, that would happen from at the age of 8 to 15. We had a bedtime. What time did everybody go to bed here? Whenever you want. How old are you? 15. When I was 15, I had to go to bed at 8:30. I could turn my light off and go to sleep at 8:30. That was the rule. Every birthday, part of your present was an extra half an hour to stay awake. And that was all you got until you were 16, and you could make the decision of what time you wanted to go to bed. Achieve, achieve, achieve. That was what was in my family. It was you had to absolutely achieve. You had to do your best. Now, I believed that was the case. That was fine. I was going to do my best. But it wasn't because I wanted to be what my dad wanted to be. It was because I wanted to leave home. To me, the only reason I could leave home was to go to university. That was the only way I could escape it. So I tried my absolute hardest. I got decent grades. I went to the sixth form, got decent grades, and I went to uni. Now, the only thing I realised very, very quickly was that you can change your surroundings. You can go wherever you want in the world, but people remain the same. Wherever you go, they always remain the same. There's something in a person's character that's exactly the same. There's one country to the next, one place to the next. Third year of university, almost finished. I was 6 months away from finishing. Done half my dissertation, almost finished, almost about to leave university to go into another chapter. This hit again, depression. I woke up one day and I couldn't get out of bed and I didn't know why. There was nothing particularly wrong with that circumstance. I hadn't had contact with my dad for a very long time, and everything technically was going all right. But I woke up and I couldn't feel anything. And I had this invisible pain, and I had no confidence, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And then this happened, mania. Does anybody know what mania is, or what mania feel like? Can you give me a word to describe it?
I want to say bipolar, but that's like another term.
You're like a mind reader, you. So that gives away my next slide. So I started to have this excitable feeling where I could do absolutely anything. But then I started to hear things, and I started to see things, and it didn't matter what empty room I was in. I could see people, I could see shapes, colours, and none of them were there. And then I was diagnosed with a bipolar affective disorder. Now, this picture is me probably at my worst. It was before an admission to a K ward at the hospital. I don't know if anybody's had an experience of hospitals, but they're not the most enjoyable place. And a psychiatric ward, no one tells you what's going on. It's like being in prison, but you've done absolutely nothing wrong and you can't understand why you're there. You are told what time the tea and coffee is out, you can't get your own. You're given specific meal times, and you're treated like a criminal, basically. Like you're treated like you're not worthy of anything. And I was at the first admission. I was in for about 6 weeks, and on the last week, when it was discharge day, I met a social worker. Now, I had no idea what a social worker was doing with me in this hospital. I had absolutely no idea. I'd never met a social worker before. And she asked me, do I have any questions? I said, yeah. When can I go back to university? That was the first question I had. I wanted to go back and finish my degree and then get on with my life. I wanted to forget this had ever happened. She said, don't worry about university now. You've got a serious mental illness. I said, right, okay. Said, well, what about getting a part-time job? Can I get a part-time job? I don't want to do nothing, so if I can't go back to university, I'll get a job. She said, you don't need to get a job. You've got a very serious mental health condition, and there are all sorts of benefits available to you. You don't need to do anything. You can just have benefits, and that we'll support you. So I said, will anybody love me? I was single. I was 22 at the time, and that was a question in my mind. Now, would I find love? Would anyone want me if I had this diagnosis and no job, no degree, no nothing? And she said, you have a mental illness, so you'll find having a relationship very difficult, if not impossible. Everything that I'd ever dreamt of was gone. Everything I'd worked for, all my education, everything I dreamt about, having a boyfriend, getting married, all that kind of thing, gone. In 3 sentences. Now, for a while I did believe that this is what was going to happen. I believed that nobody would love me because I had no qualifications, because I had no job. I had nothing to show for my life. I felt that was what she was saying, and I felt that that was the way things were going to be. I used to look in the mirror, and I wouldn't see me looking back. I would just see this face, and the face that was looking at me would say, you're stupid, you're thick, you're ugly, and no one wants you because you've got a mental illness. I believed that for a while, and then I thought, this is my life. I either have 2 choices. I either go with what the social worker said, or I do something different, and I prove them wrong. So I had to prove to a bunch of people, the doctors, the social workers. I even had to prove to my family, because they believed that what the doctors and social workers were saying was true. They believed that I couldn't go back to university and I couldn't get a job. But not only that, the most important person I had to prove to was me. I had to prove that despite having a mental illness, despite having bipolar disorder, despite everything everybody had said, when everybody else had given up on me, I hadn't given up on me, because I still had to live my life. I still had to go on and do things. So Jobs, I got a job. Anybody heard of Cars Plastics? You should do. You're off in Bolton, yeah? So I worked there from the age of 16, and when I came out of hospital, I said, can I have a job? And John Carr, who died recently, he gave me a job. And I worked there for a few months, and then I actually went back to university. And while I was there, I needed a temp job. So I got a job in the Roundtrees factory, where they make all the chocolate. Now, does anybody like Milky Bars? Yeah. A word of advice, don't ever eat a Milky Bar again. Because, right, don't get too worried, because when they were giving me the guided tour of the factory, the Milky Bar tank burst. So there was white chocolate all over the floor, right? And what the lady who was taking me round said was, oh, don't worry, they're just going to scoop that up and put it back in the tank. Exactly. I've never eaten a Milky Bar since. So, then I worked at Jones' Bootmaker. I know, sorry. Sorry about that. Just forget that. Scrap that bit. I've pushed your dreams, I'm sorry. So, Home Delivery Network. Milky Bars, yeah, go eat them. Home Delivery Network was probably the worst job I've ever had in my life. And then I worked at Subway. Anybody like Subway? I've got no ghost story for Subway, you're all safe there, that's fine. And then I worked at STA Travel. It's a travel company, and it's based in Manchester, and I am an administrator at the travel company, and I've worked there for 10 years. Not only have I worked there for 10 years, but I've worked there for full time. I've done exactly what the social worker said I would never do. I got a job, I worked there full time, and I've proved them wrong. However, story doesn't end there. I'd like to say it did. You know, I went back to university, I got a job, I've done all the things that people said I would never do. But the trouble is, when you have a mental illness, you've got to not only get on with things, but you also have to take control of it. I made the mistake of not taking control. I neglected to accept the fact that I had an illness, and I tried to have as much of a normal life as possible, but I didn't cater for, it's not that I gave in to my mental illness, I didn't make adjustments. So I had 6 hospital admissions in 12 years, which isn't that bad compared to others, but it's not great. And 2 of them were threatened with being sectioned as well if I didn't stay voluntarily. So I could have been taken in and not being able to go out for a very long time. And with each admission, I lost part of my personality. I lost who I was. I forgot who I was. And in my manic state, I thought I could save the world. Now, people are going to think this is really funny. Oh, you thought I could save the world? Oh, that's funny. But the thing is, I truly believed that I could make a difference. I actually thought that I was the saviour of the entire universe. I thought I had a plan for all of the help the education system. I thought I had a plan for the NHS. I had a plan for the prison system. I was going to change everything. I was going to make an incredible difference. And so you laugh at it and you think it's funny, but the thing is, this controls your mind. This is the only thing that you can see. And when you're stood in front of your psychiatrist and he's saying, you're high, you're ill, and you're thinking, well, that's not right. Now, speaking of the psychiatrist, he said to me, what if all this isn't possible? He had my 8-page plan in his hand and he said, what if you can't do this? What if you're ill? And I said, this is no way for a person to live. I was in hospital, I was this close to being sectioned, and I had a choice to make. So he said to me, I will get you the life you want and the life you deserve. Now at the time I thought, oh, that's really nice of him, that he wants to help me and everything, that's lovely. But that's not what he meant. He actually meant, he will help me to get control. His words were, I've never ever forgotten them. You have to learn about your mental illness so that you can take control of it rather than it taking control of you. Whatever mental illness you have, whether it's depression, OCD, anything at all, it covers all things. You are the one that's in control at the end of the day. Sometimes it feels like mental illness just comes over us and we can't do anything about it. And it is an absolute nightmare. It is horrible. There is nothing good about having a mental illness. The only thing you can do is change that and take control. So I made these house rules. I actually made a lot more than this, but these are just the 3 that I actually stand by. So regular sleep routine. I have to make sure I get enough sleep. Otherwise, if I don't get enough sleep, I either get depressed or I get high. no computer after 9 p.m. So I don't email people after 9 p.m. I make sure I turn it off. Now I do have a tablet and I do watch Netflix, so I don't count that. However, no computer, no emails, no work, no stories, no typing up, no nothing. And because of the degree of my mental illness, because I wanted to save the world, I found watching the news and reading the newspapers as a trigger. When I read a sad story, when I read something about a different country, that I actually, there's something in my mind that says you can do something about that, but I have to remember that I can't. I can do something about something else, but I can't save the world. I can't. None of us can. We can do it collectively, but we can't do it individually. The other thing I learnt was I don't let my mental illness define me. A lot of people, now I use this as an example, if I was to say to you, hi, my name's Kat, I would not say, hi, my name's Kat and I'm bipolar. I just say my name's Kat, because bipolar doesn't define me, doesn't make me who I am, doesn't tell me all the bits about my personality, it doesn't. What does define my personality is my love for drag queens. I love drag queens. Does anybody else like drag queens? Yeah, RuPaul? Yeah, Drag Race.
It's true, she had one at a wedding.
Swans, I love swans. I just think they're beautiful, and I feel peaceful when I watch them. Pardon? They do, but they're quite nice from a distance. Not think. Have a look next time. Cher, I also love Cher. I really like Cher. Does anybody else like Cher? Yeah, you've got a hand up there, that's good, thank you very much, you saved me. I also realised that it's okay to be a little bit strange. I stand here now and I am a bit odd, I am a bit strange, but I don't shy away from it now, I embrace it, because I am who I am. I might not have been accepted at school, but as an adult, when I meet people, if you think I'm strange, that's fine, that's your opinion. The thing is that I know what makes me happy, I know what makes me tick, and I know how to get along in my life. So against all odds, I graduated in 2006. Yeah, I know, had a cap and gown and everything. And in 2015, when my social worker had said, you'll never live independently, you'll always be under the care of your mum, I bought a house in 2015, so I lived there for 3 years. Not only did I buy a house, but I thought, well, I can't afford one on my own, so I bought it with this guy. Yeah? He is bald. He went bald very early. And the thing is, he's 3 years younger than me as well. But so we got married on the 5th of November 2016. We're married 2 years now. And in all honesty, he's just as weird as I am. He is. And you know when you said he's bald? Well, I can't... Don't what? No, he doesn't. No, I might tell him to do that though. But basically, when I thought, has anyone seen Jason Statham? Yeah? He's my very own Jason Statham. See?
That's Conrad.
Okay, also, my wedding was a little bit different, as you can expect. I didn't have real flowers, despite one of my bridesmaids' mums owning a florist. Yeah, sorry about that, she's over there. What you will notice is that all my bridesmaids have very different dresses. But what also you'll notice is every single one of them is a different person. Every single one of them looks different. Yeah. Yeah, I gave them £100 each and said, do what you want with it. I didn't get much for some of them, but yeah. So they all picked their own dresses. I had knitted flowers in the bouquets. They all had knitted flowers in their hair. And they're all very, not only do they look different, but they're all very different personalities. They all like different things. And part of my thing in life is I couldn't put them in one dress for one day. It wasn't about, my wedding wasn't about everything matching and everything being symmetrical and everything. I wanted everyone to have a really good time that day, and I wanted the girls to show their personality because they were going down the aisle as much as I was. So, in 2014, at the end of 2014, I decided I wanted to be a speaker. And I was telling my friend in the car on the way up, you don't wake up one day and go, I'm going to be a speaker and I'm going to be really good. It takes a lot of work. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I don't know if I'm any good. I don't know if I'm any better than I was 4 years ago. But these are just a few of the things that I've achieved. I'm also a volunteer for 3 mental health charities, one of which is Band. Hi, Petra's at the back, Band. Been with them for 3 years, and they've probably given me the most speaking opportunities. I'm a volunteer for Bipolar UK. Does anybody watch Coronation Street? Yeah? Does everyone know Gina?
Yep.
You know who's the bipolar character? Yeah? I helped with that storyline. I met Connie Hyde, who plays Gina, and we shared ideas and we worked out what we were going to do. And I also got a tour around Coronation Street and sat in Steve McDonald's chair in the cab office. Probably a big highlight of my life, that.
Did you eat Steve McDonald?
They made me a cup of tea as well. No, I didn't actually. That was a bit rubbish, but yeah, no. Next time I go back, I might ask them for that. And this guy here, Richard McCann, he probably taught me everything that I know. So if I'm rubbish, we'll blame him. The biggest lessons I've learned, I'm almost done, I promise. To have people believe in you is wonderful. It's a great thing. But the thing is, the only thing that you can do is believe in yourself, because you have the power to change anything in your life. You are the ones that are in control. I also realised that life doesn't actually end because of mental illness. When people said it did, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If you take control of it and you make the best of a bad situation, then that's the only thing you can do. Make the best of a bad situation and take control of it, and then you cracked it. So, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for entertaining me and working along with me. It's actually been a really fun, it's been a really fun one today. I really look forward to it. So I'm going to hang around for a while, and if anyone wants to ask me questions or anything or talk to me, I am around. So just don't be shy. You weren't shy when you've been sat down, so come and speak to me, and we're all good. All right.